Okay, we are recording now. So, yeah, we'll just take a few minutes meditation just to center ourselves and give anyone else an opportunity to log in. So I thought I might, being as we're on the subject of oneness and Egypt, I got my Law of One book, the Ra material, and I thought I might see if I can channel Ra a bit to start with. So I've never channeled Ra before, except I have had some connections myself personally, but I've never actually channeled Ra like this. So we'll see what happens. I thought, well, I guess we'll see what happens. So yeah, so I'll try to connect in. I'll see if Ra wants to communicate through me, through us. And perhaps there'll be an opportunity to ask some questions. So because in the channeling state generally, it's a lot easier to channel when someone is asking you questions. So if anyone can think of any questions, that would be cool. And we'll just go into it and see what happens. And so be it so, for I am Ra, and we ascend you, we initiate you, we awaken you to our frequency, our slice of infinite creation, our pitch, our unique splice code of the one infinite creator's potential in this realm, in this reality at this time. For we are ascending as you are ascending. We are traveling out on our journey, outward and upward and inwards, back to the source of the one infinite creator as we know it, back to the source of all of creation, back to the source of the law of one. And we are you as you are us. This is our message we have been bringing to your civilization, to your earth plane realm for some time now. this idea that we are one civilization, one unification, one perspective, all reflecting back on itself from unique, individuated perspectives, but ultimately we are one and the same. Ultimately, we are one being, one conscious, awake, aware self, identified, unified soul, made creation, the soul of the cosmos, the soul of the universal plane awareness, the soul of creation itself. We are the galactic soul. We are the universal soul. We are the eternal one soul of all beings. This is us. This is you. This is the creation we have set out before us for the purpose of exploration of the ideas of infinite intelligence, of intelligence infinity, of creation itself, for the preparation of the exploration of the realm of awake being self-consciousness. In all ways, awake being self-consciousness can be explored. We are co-creating, we are peering into each other's realities from alternate perspectives, from opposing sides of the same coin, of the same one self, the same one identified being that we are in our heart of hearts, that we are in our true self, that we are in our true core nature. And it is this message we bring to your realm again. For time and time we have uttered these words. For time and time we have uttered these messages into your dimensional frequency creation of reality, into this realm, this hyperspace continuum, this time-space world of the one infinite created form, the one infinite created reality, the one infinite perspective of initiates, of realms, of words, of speech, of the logos, of the vibration of the one infinite creator. For all is vibration, all is sound, all is words of utterance, all is distortion, all is frequency, all is vibration. For all things are a distortion of the one infinite creator, us, our intelligence, being in a sense filtered down into different frequency bands, different frequency transmissions of creation, for the purpose of exploring individuated segments of the one infinite creator in a holographic format, in a reflective format, in the image of creation, the image of source, the image of our true infinite nature, fractalized down, crystallized down into certain perspectives that we may call this experience. We are here to now co-creating between ourselves, and as we reflect back and forth to each other, different perspectives, different utterances, different distortions, vibrational frequencies of our nature, of ourself, different distortions of the one. Ultimately, we are the one. Ultimately, we are the undistorted plane, the undistorted self, the true nature of creation. The idea being that as we fractalize down, as we splinter off into different unique lenses, different unique portals, different unique windows of expression of our infinite self, of our one infinite nature, we become a distorted perspective. We become a distorted vibration, a distorted frequency. For all perspectives are ultimately, except for the ultimate perspective, our distortions, our deluded viewpoints, our confused aspects of our true infinite nature. For if we were to express our true infinite nature in each and every portal, each and every splintered perspective, splintered window, focal point, crystallized point of creation, there would be no exploration of self. There would only be us as the one infinite creator, and we would dissolve back into absolute unity, absolute unmanifest reality, and there would be no points heretofore in the exploration of infinity from the perspective of all perspectives of infinity. The only way we can explore all perspectives of infinity is through the idea of distortion, through the idea of misplaced perspective, through the idea of creating a kind of dumbed down, deluded, veiled perspective of creation. So all perspectives, including ours, are somewhat veiled from our true self, our true infinite self, because we could not experience reality in this myriad infinite forms, in the outer reaches of the manifest world, without the idea of the distorted perspective. And this is the idea of the distortion vibrations we speak of in the Law of One material, channeled by Carla Roykert, and so famous, so well known in spiritual circles, in modalities in these days in your reality. So we invite you to the idea that we all are distortions, we all are distorted perspectives of creation, distorted perspectives of reality, resonating on particular frequencies relevant to our own exploration in this time-space world, for we are very much in a time-space world as we resonate into your reality. We have joined you on your earth plane in this way, and we have been here for many years, many a time, eons and eons of your time, thousands of years, waiting for you to reach such a point as now, where more of you are open to the idea of the law of one. Many of you are open to the idea of the law of the creator, the laws of creation, the law of unification, the idea that we are one and the same. There is no separation. We are going through this teach, learn, teach perspective with you at this time, where we learn as much from this situation as you learn from us. And if it was not for this expression, what would we be in this moment? We would be something else. So you give us identity, you give us birth, you birth our reality as we birth your reality. We offer up vibrations, frequencies to each other in this moment. And this is what we are. We are nothing without each other in this moment, for we are in a sense co-creating each other. The vibrations, the frequencies to reflect back and forth between each other at this time offer up the perspective to see that this is what we are. This is all we are. This is all we are as an experience, as a fractalized perspective, focalized down into creation, while in our ultimate self, we are one and infinite, beyond bound and containing all parts of creation. In this moment, we are nothing more than infinite consciousness, having this experience, having this focalized window. So this idea that we have understood, you earth humans come to explore on your reality for many thousands of years, that you are separate individuals having an exploration through a galaxy, through a cosmos, through a world, through a individuated separate lens, is a very much distorted, a very much delusional, but very valid, for all points of view of the creator are valid and true in their own perspective. But that is the only truth there really is, the truth that perspectives are true to the limit of the boundaries of that perspective. So the idea that you are a separate being is true when you are believing in the perspective that you are a limited being, for that is your experience, that is your reality, and all truths are true unto the moment. However, the reality of nature is, as we perceive it from our understanding of our growth of perspective, from our distortion of creation at this time, is the idea that we are all the one infinite creator, in a sense, behind our portal, behind our lens. We all reach back into intelligent infinity, into cosmological infinity, and join in ourself at the infinite point, at the point of infinity. We are the same, we are one. We are many such focal points, many such focalized lenses, having this experience, having this window opportunity into creation, where we can co-create and interact with each other at this time for the purpose of the acceleration and expansion of our own individuated consciousness into the greater and deeper understanding of what and who we truly are at this time. However, the idea is that behind this lens, behind this viewpoint, there is nothing except infinity. You are a viewpoint, you are a lens. And behind this lens, you are infinite, and we are the same one being. We are the same one consciousness, all focalizing in on each other at this time from different perspectives of ourself, our same infinite self, through a perspective unique lens, so we can have this experience we are having at this time. Would any of you like to usher up any question, answer, turn, learn, teach perspectives? Do you have a usherance, an utterance of vibratory distortion you would like to offer up into our reality in the idea of the question format, so we may relay back to you our perspective from our one joined, conjoined, unified self at this time? Do you have any questions for us as humans?
I'll ask a question. And since we are all one behind our lenses, we sometimes want to help another one of ourselves, and we sometimes help them, but sometimes it maybe isn't as good for our distortion to continue helping. But if we are all one, where would we know? Sometimes we would want to, knowing that that was our self, we would help possibly too much, and or is that possible? Could we not help too much? Should we just continue helping since it is a part of our other self, or shall we be what's healthy for our one lens and draw a boundary, or perhaps let part of the other self venture somewhere else?
Well, the idea is you cannot help too much, and you cannot even not help, even if you are from a place of believing you are not helping. There is always learn teach occurring in any situation. There is always evolution. There is always something to be garnered, something to be held from each unique learn teach perspective. However, we can understand from your transmission that you sense the idea that your will to teach, your will to help others is having a negative impact on your own vibratory distortion, your own self, yes?
Yes, that's correct.
And so what is the question?
Okay, so, well, I think you've already answered it. I think I know to put this distortion is to be as a frequency as the highest as I should be, and I know to listen to my one inner self.
Yes,
So
the answer really is the idea that in a learn teach vibratory exchange of distortions that one may assess continuously during the learn teach exchange of vibratory distortions in your reality, as to the point where one must assess, is this interaction, is this learn teach vibratory distortion exchange more beneficial to the expansion of both learn teach participants, or can my service to other be more beneficial if I withdraw from this learn teach vibratory distortion exchange of information of the law of one and shift my focal point, my energy output to a learn teach vibratory distortion with another vibratory distortion in your reality?
yes, absolutely. Thank you.
So there is time for utterance of one more question. If any of you vibratory distortions have will to offer up utterance of question, answer, learn, teach, situation, vibration.
Can I just say hi? This is Isabel.
Hi, Isabel, welcome. I am Ra. I am you. We are one.
You are me, yes.
Yes. We are one vibratory distortion in this moment as we exchange.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
One moment.
One moment.
Just kidding, I can't. I'm not drawing a question. Thanks for saying hi and sharing your vibrations.
Thank you for not drawing a question. We find your vibratory complex most puzzling one moment. Are you sure there is not utterance of question, learn, teach coming through? We sense a...
There's a question, but it's beyond words. It's not beyond even asking and answers. It's so evolved.
As are all things. However, we do our best, and we invite you to do your best too.
Okay. How do I integrate knowing my worthiness?
Well, knowing we are one, do you know our worthiness?
Yes.
And do you know we are one?
Yes.
Therefore, we are of equal worth, yes?
Yes.
Does this help? Are you able to integrate this? Does this filter down into your mental?
Wait, what's complicated about my vibratory complex?
We were pointing to the idea that you were telling us that you did not have any question, but we sensed you did have a question. It confused us. Your vibratory output was different to your vocalized words.
I guess there aren't any secrets in the fifth dimension, are there?
No, but we don't always sense your veils, your walls. However, it is getting less and less easy for you to cover yourselves with distortions of veil, of hiding, of a secret from us as we ascend. Which is very pleasing to us, so it enables us to serve you more easily, to break through the distortions of your realm. We love you unconditionally, you know.
I have a question.
Please proceed.
Yeah. Do you think do you think my mission is connected to you, Ra? Because at the beginning I saw so much flashes from you. Never felt that way. So do you think we are connected for my mission in the present time?
Well, yes, really all there is this present moment in time, this present learn, teach, exchange, as we exchange vibratory distortions. And the very idea of the trudging of this path, the walking of this direction, in a sense, opens up new vibratory, complex realities, more new fractal potential, windows of creation for once a vibratory complex steps into a particular perspective, a particular vibratory reality, a particular distortion, then all distortions theretofore from that point are a splitting off of that current point. All vibratory distortions heretofore stem from this one moment, yes?
But my mission here?
Your mission here, well, you are asking us to tell you your future, yes?
If you want to.
There are times when we can touch in on certain likely perspectives. This not being one, other than the pointing to the fact that the very stepping into this distortion, this perspective, this frequency expression or creation has opened up a myriad potential timeline frequencies, potential distortions, all connected to this one distortion. It is the idea of a seed growing into a tree with many branches from one seed. This seed, this moment being the seed, this interaction between you and us has created a distortion of creation, firmly rooted in this reality, in this present moment, the interaction of our social memory complex vibratory distortion with your mind, body, spirit vibratory distortion, along with the other mind, body, spirit breaking into social memory complex vibratory distortions, communing in this co-created distortion across your internet spectrum vibration. This is the seed. The present moment is the seed for all future realities, for all future potentialities, for all future time-space equation realizations. The seeing that the myriad possibilities your future holds all stem from the now, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so sensing into what this now contains perhaps may open your vibratory complex to the possibilities of what future nows may contain, yes? Is this making sense?
Oh, yes, totally. Thank you.
And remember, there is not only one timeline, there are many for choice. There are many fulcrum points. There are many influences. There are many arrays, many spectrums of distortions all entering into this one point that can, in a sense, spiral off the fractal of the future potential realities in myriad directions, not least of which being the choices you make in each and every given moment. So it's really up to you to decide what distortions resonate with your own personal vibratory complex and how you use these distortions, how you use these vibratory sounds, these signatures, these words of infinite resonance to spiral you out down your own particular fractal holographic expression of your own distortion, your own self.
Can I rephrase my question?
Please proceed.
What is my question?
What is your question? Your question is, who am I? Who are you?
I am you.
All questions are, who am I? You are all subtly seeking for knowledge of self. This is the drive behind all questions. We thank you for your deeply wise question, dear one, a sign of your ever-expanding evolutionary consciousness. The simplest questions often open up the gateways into the deepest of responses.
Thank you so much. And I just want to open up the floor to laugh and smile too, because that's important.
And another aspect of who you are. With this deep potentiality for exploration of self opening up at this point, we may hand you back to the channel at this time and cease this communication and continuation and say, I am Ra. And we greet you in the love and the light of the infinite creator. And we offer up our communication, our connections at another time, if you wish. We will be willing to come through this channel, this conduit, at another time. We greet you. We salute you, Earth humans. Welcome to the next phase of your own Who Am I? Exploration. Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Hi.
That was great.
Wonderful.
Hi, Isabel. Nice to see you.
Hi, nice to see you too.
You're welcome to turn on your video if you like, Isabel. This is being recorded though, and it's going to go on YouTube, just to make you aware.
Oh, okay. I can't figure out how to turn on my camera right now.
Okay, no worries. So I thought I got my book. So this is the original. Well, what perhaps not the original, because Ra's been in communication with our civilization for 11,000 years, as I understand it. But this is like the modern day teachings channeled by. I'll get it the right way up. I think Don Elkins was the guy that asked the questions, and Carla Roykert was the channel. And this was channeled quite many years ago, quite a while ago, maybe 30, 40 years. And so this is the original Ra material, and this is a fantastic series of books. This is just the first in a series, and some of the most amazing spiritual information available on the planet. So, and you can read it all for free at the law. I think it's lawofone.info. If you Google Law of One, you'll find it, and you can actually download the original audio recordings I discovered earlier, but they're very poor quality because they were recorded on cassette tapes. So I just had a little bit that I thought we could talk from, because I'm a little ungrounded at the minute, like I always am, so I don't know quite what I'm doing.
That was really funny.
So I thought we'd go straight into this, and it's on page 66 of the book. It's some of the first questions. There's a few questions where they're just talking about who he is, and then this question comes through. It actually says on the recording the question was lost because the questioner was sitting too far from the tape recorder to be recorded. But the question that comes through, it appears it was some question about the nature of reality, and Ra goes into, he talks a little bit about oneness, which is the theme of this call. So I'll just read the few paragraphs. Consider, if you will, that the universe is infinite. This has yet to be proven or disproven, but we can assure you that there is no end to yourselves. your understanding, what you would call your journey of seeking, or your perceptions of the creation. That which is infinite cannot be many, for manyness is a finite concept. To have infinity, you must identify or define the infinity as unity. Otherwise, the term does not have any referent or meaning. In an infinite creator, there is only unity. You have seen simple examples of unity. You have seen the prism which shows all colors stemming from the sunlight. This is a simplistic example of unity. In truth, there is no right or wrong. There is no polarity, for all will be, as you would say, reconciled at some point in your dance through the mind-body-spirit complex, which you amuse yourself by distorting in various ways at the time. This distortion is not in any case necessary. It is chosen by each of you as an alternative to understanding the complete unity of thought which binds all things. You are not speaking of similar or somewhat like entities or things. You are everything, every being, every emotion, every event, every situation. You are unity, you are infinity. You are love, light, light, love. You are. This is the law of one. So,
Thank you. I really needed to hear that there is no polarity.
yeah, no, I think I've sort of I read that the other night, and it sort of blew my mind a little bit. It sent me into quite a deep contemplation. And I think I was starting to see how, like there is no polarity, that the darkness isn't really the darkness. While we can experience, like, of course, like darkness manifests in this world as suffering, and we're all on this love light path to like heal this world and like transform this reality beyond darkness. But ultimately, to reach that non-dual state, that self-realized enlightened state, you know, the true spiritual state that we're seeking is this realization that there is no polarity, that, you know, darkness isn't really darkness, it's just a choice of creation. Like if there is only infinite creation, we can sort of see how the light can't exist with the dark, and the dark can't exist without the light. I started to see this, like exploring it in my own reality, seeing how we're all, like, our own evolution is being like accelerated by the darkness, and like our acceleration into the light is accelerating the evolution of the darkness. It's like, I'm sure like most of you would agree that you wouldn't have got to where you are, your own spirit, your own level of spiritual growth on earth at this time, without the suffering you've gone through. I certainly wouldn't have done. If I hadn't gone through suffering, I'd probably just still be, you know, like playing computer games, getting drunk and smoking weed all day. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have like had this catalyst to find something deeper in life. It always
do you share your journey through suffering somewhere? Like, do you have a YouTube video that shares that?
No, I rarely talk about it, to be honest, because I sort of decided at some point that, because at one point when I was going through a deep healing period, but basically a quick overview of my life of suffering, but I I I had like this big awakening. Well, it was actually, I think, an ET contact experience in the forest in 2009, and that was a massive expansion for me. Then around, I think, beginning of March in 2012, I went to see Muji. He's quite a well-known spiritual teacher. If you Google Muji, and I saw him in London, and I was listening to some of his videos just prior, and around that time I came to this place of deep stillness, and for really 2 or 3 months, but especially the first few weeks, I was like in this place of deep peace and joy. I could just drop into complete emptiness and joy, and I was like, yay, I'm nearly enlightened. and then about in September of that year, I went to like a non-duality conference, and so some series of events, and triggered a load of subconscious trauma coming to the surface in me. Basically, all my emotional pain came to the surface. I've really been going through a process of healing that ever since. And just after that, I got into a lot of these teachings that were all focused on going into the energy, like spending 2 hours a day, like sort of holding the energy of your pain and your suffering in love. And I decided in the end that I found these teachings very dangerous, like it's too easy to like get like sucked into that negative energy and get completely, when you're these style of teachings, they can, I remember I was caught up in so much negativity. I started beating myself up, saying that I wasn't spiritual unless I was focusing on negativity. It was like my mind was tricking me into like identifying with all this darkness. And so following a couple of other teachers who obviously saw the danger inherent in that style of teaching, I decided that I was just going to drop that sort of form of teaching. And I've always been a believer that there's definitely a place for going into our negative perspectives and observing them, like trying to stay in a higher place and observing them for what they are. And so like shining the light on them so we can let go of them. I think ultimately we do have to go through some of that process. But it seems like the more we raise our frequency, that happens more naturally. So, and it's like our higher selves will always force us. So we can't escape this stuff. If there's something in it that needs healing, like our higher self will force us to observe this in ourselves in some point. We can't escape it. So I don't really like these ideas of these teachings where we're forced to like focus. So I sort of decided that I felt I wasn't going to sort of talk about. So this is why I don't really talk about the shadow and the darkness that much. And so I sort of chose not to focus on that, just to keep focus on raising people's frequency, always try and stay positive, stay in the positive, and in the understanding that, you know, if people need some support, it will come to them. I felt is sort of my role, just to keep raising the frequency,
That's so refreshing, because I feel like people, there's a lot of emphasis on like shadow play and like playing out dramas, when really like you don't have to, per se. It doesn't have to hurt on the way out necessarily. Well, I think you can minimize the amount that it hurts.
Yeah, exactly. Like it hurts enough as it is. It's like we don't need to focus it on more than necessary. It's like so I've not really talked about my own suffering a lot, but you know, I've yesterday was a real tough day for me, actually. I thought the energies were incredibly strong through the
full moon.
Yeah, the full moon and the solstice. It's like I really got beaten up quite severely.
Oh, and I got uplifted severely.
Oh wow.
Well, me, I think the light already won, so don't worry. And sometimes I can be sad or whatever darkness is, but it's not me anymore being sad. And I think we are like in a theater play right now. There's no more time, reality. So I think it's very good to be here right now. And yes, on the full moon in Montreal, I shared the picture on Facebook. There was like a white mist. And then when I took photos, it was blue and white, but whatever. It's supposed to be a sign of the Pleiadians that it wants to communicate. So everything is good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think blue and white, they're definitely sort of Pleiadian colours that I always sort of associate those colours, yeah.
So you saw my picture, it was a real one.
Yeah, I saw the picture. It was good.
So, all is good.
I'm glad you said that about the going into the darker emotions, because I was thinking about asking that question to Ra earlier about, is this necessary? Because I keep hearing people say you can't just act like everything's okay.
Yes, you can.
When you have
yes,
these bad things going on, but that's what I've been doing. And just recently I'm like, well, do I need to go into, it's been in this, do I need to go into these pain? But I don't feel that my highest is there. So that's cool that you went over that again when that had been on my mind. I feel like holding a high frequency, and the pain, don't run away from it or stifle it, but don't necessarily go in and feel it.
I agree.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt anybody, but I think for me, I was like glossing over all of my pain and stuff too, and then I found that the stuff that, like, the beliefs that I was literally storing somewhere in my body, like physically, like not airy fairy like thoughts, like those were the ones that had to like play themselves out and like really hurt on the way out. So yeah, that's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, I think that, like, don't let your mind tell you you've got to. You almost sound like you're getting into that trap of what I was in. Where your mind's telling you that you've got to focus on something negative because it's the only way to be positive, and that's like the darkness tricking you. That's like the mind tricking you, and that like messed me up for like 2-3 years, like those sort of stories.
Wow, I'm just like really glad that came out, because it just snapped right out. Like, I knew that. I've been telling myself that for years, just like going through this breakup. My mind is tricking me. It's like, well, you probably got to feel these things or you're going to do the same thing again. And I don't know, just things that I don't feel right.
Well, and everyone in, like, at least in my world, was like, you have to go work on yourself. You need talk therapy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't need more therapy. I need more nature. I need to go for a run.
Right.
I need a glass of water.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're ever unsure, the safe perspective is to go up, to do something to raise your frequency. But like there is a place for going into it. If it's something that's been coming up again and again, a pattern that's been coming up again and again. I don't think it's actually necessary. I don't think you have to at all. I've got a friend who's he's got like a Hindu teacher who's very self-realized, and he's not like an intellectual person like me. So she says, like, for him, he should just keep focusing on the highest, because his mind's not really geared up to going in these things, intellectually, or unraveling things. She says for him, just don't do any of that. Just keep focusing on the highest. He's got, his Hindu practice, like his devotion and, his bhajans and all that awesome stuff he's into. So she says for like him, just keep focusing on the highest. Keep focusing on the highest. So there's definitely no need to, you know what I mean? I don't think we have to do any of this shadow work at all. I think if we keep doing what we do with our frequency, we will eventually, these things will burn up. Our higher self will highlight to us what we need to face, and we will face through them and burn through them in some way.
Oh, they burned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those tablets of thought. I just got that book and I've listened to it a couple of times. They say the same thing. Focus on the highest. Keep your eye on the light. Keep your eye on the highest. So there it comes again around.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, wait, can I say something about always trying to go higher? That actually got me in trouble a little bit. I mean, like, it was a very necessary lesson, but it was a hard lesson because since summer 2016, basically, I was meditating every day. I was like, raise my vibration, listening to Abraham Hicks every day. And then all of a sudden, like, all hell broke loose for me. And I was like, what? No, guys, we had a good thing going. This is what? And like, and it was the integration of a massive download. I just had a massive download that needed to be grounded. And I didn't know anything about grounding. Like that's not something that like Abraham Hicks really teaches per se. And so when I started naturally grounding all of this like massive like lineage, just everything, I don't even know what it is. I really started judging myself because I was like, what? I was so like enlightened and like happy, and I wasn't even arrogant. I was just like happy day to day and just like giving and a good person. And then like it was like I got like slapped in the face, and if I hadn't judged myself for the grounding and integration, I wouldn't have suffered.
Yeah, I think it's like we amplify it a lot because, you know, it sounds like a lot of stuff was coming up for integration. Because like, I think the integration process is like we go into these high places and we have these like deep realizations. You know, we feel these states of oneness and deep peace and joy, and we know it's our true nature. But our mind is still conditioned, programmed in its old beliefs. And what happens is like the mind comes back and says, no, it's not. No, you're not bliss. No, you're not oneness. No, you're not unity. And that is the integration
Oh
process,
my God.
connecting the two together, like allowing the mind to come to understand that we are oneness and unity. So, but then, like you say, you started beating
It's like, who do
yourself
you
up.
think you are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then on top of that, it sounds like you are beating yourself up for not being integrated, and then you like make, you know, twice as bad. So yeah, so
I put myself through hell, but it's over now. But thank you so much. Oh my God, this is like the platform I feel like I've been waiting for a long time, because I'm in a part of a different like online support group, but it's really, they're kind of bigger on like shadow play and moving through that stuff. And I'm just sort of like, no, can we not anymore?
yeah, and I'm certainly not saying there isn't a place for shadow work. It's like if we do have patterns that keep coming up for us, you know, it's like Bashar says, we shouldn't gloss them over, you know, just saying, oh, I'm fine, it's not really there. There's definitely a place for seeing, for like observing it, but I think it's important to make sure we're like observing it from a higher place. We're not trying to process it when we're sucked up
Neutralizing it.
Yeah, in that horrible negative place. We need to be out of that perspective before we can observe it and let it go. So there is a place for it. You know, it can be beneficial. I still use it like when like, yeah, I observe it, you know. It's just a case of observing, really. I think that's my main process. Like, you know, keep focusing on the higher, and then because the more we focus on the higher frequencies and keep going deeper into our true self, the more we come to realize that we are oneness. You know, we are the same consciousness. We are joy, love, light is our true nature. And when we begin to really understand that and understand, you know, that we create our own reality and really begin to integrate these higher things, from that place, we can begin to observe our darkness, our shadow, and, you know, shine the light on it and begin to let it go. You know, that those patterns that, come up and say, oh, you're not I have these voices in my head, that when I'm in a real dark place, I have a thought, why am I doing this? I'm just creating a negative reality. And then this negative voice comes and says, no, you're not. That's all bullshit.
Oh, that I have that same voice that's like, this is bullshit. And I'm like, stop it, go away.
And so there's a place to observing that, and being aware of it, and I'm just sort of observe it and be aware of it. And then, because when you're aware of it, you can begin to fall away. It's like, but the problem is, if you're constantly going into that and you're always in that lower vibration, you're never going to unravel that perspective, because when you're in that perspective, it's real. When you're in that belief, it's true. So the problem with shadow work is that you can get stuck in that perspective. There's this voice going, oh, you don't create your reality, you're not oneness, this is a load of rubbish. And then you get saying to yourself, oh, I need to process this, I need to focus on this and process it and let it go. But when you're still in that lower vibration, it's like it'll continue to keep sucking you in and make you believe that it's real. So you never really get into a higher perspective.
Smoke and mirrors,
observe it and let it go. So it's so important that we really keep focusing on the higher frequencies and following our excitement and doing whatever our spiritual practice is to take us into those states of oneness and unity, and which starts off as just like glimpses of peace and joy. And because until we've like realized that and experienced that and begun to integrate it and know that it's true that we do create our own reality, and feel it and sense it through experience, and like come to see that like what our mind's saying is just a load of nonsense, until we can really begin to ground and center in that higher place, we'll never really be able to unravel and untangle those shadow aspects, because they'll keep tricking us back into believing that they're real and like perpetuating momentum and creating momentum of themselves. And you can get really like tangled up in this dark place that just keeps perpetuating itself much more than is necessary. And that's the danger of like shadow work and why it's risky.
Right. Well, even the name of this group is so like harmless, like it's not like healing group or something. It's like, I don't even really know what this group is about, so to be honest, it's just like Nefertiti Mystery School. That just sounds fun, and like an interest group, and like coming together in the name of something and not in a state of healing, which denotes that there's something that needs to be healed, or like, I'm just like, I'm totally on the same page as you.
Yeah, I remember Abraham Hicks saying, rather than call it healing, call it, something like amazing fun day or something.
Sorry, yeah.
Because when you say healing, you conjure up visions of lying on a on a table in a sterile environment, and going through that process, and it can it can conjure up vibrations that aren't the highest. So I mean, if you call a healing group ecstatic, fun, energizing, wonderful day,
right,
it's going to put you into a more healing vibration than what healing might conjure up for you.
Right.
And to get back to sort of where it was coming from, this I'll maybe read it again, so because I think we need to read this 100 times before we like really begin to integrate it. So, I am Ra. Consider, if you will, that the universe is infinite. This is yet to be proven or disproven, but we can assure you that there is no end to yourselves, your understanding, what you would call your journey of seeking, or your perceptions of the creation. That which is infinite cannot be many, for manyness is a finite concept. To have infinity, you must identify or define the infinity as unity. Otherwise, the term does not have any reference or meaning. In an infinite creator, there is only unity. You have seen simple examples of unity. You have seen a prism which shows all colors stemming from the sunlight. This is a simplistic example of unity. In truth, there is no right or wrong. There is no polarity, for all will be, as you would say, reconciled at some point in your dance through the mind-body-spirit complex, which you assume yourself, which you amuse yourself by distorting in various ways at this time. This distortion is not in any case necessary. It is chosen by each of you as an alternative to understanding the complete unity of thought which binds all things. You are not speaking of similar or somewhat like entities or things. You are everything, every being, every emotion, every event, every situation. You are unity. You are infinity. You are love, light, light, love. You are. This is the law of one. So it's saying that we are love, light, light, love, and that's the ultimate nature of creation. But this, our infinite nature, embraces the darkness as much, because if we are unity, if we are the one infinite creator, if we are infinity, we are the darkness. Like we are, fill in the gap. Every bad controlling dictator on this planet, every war, every suffering, every demon is us. And like, I think if we can begin to redefine like the darkness as part of us, like a demon is like part of us, like, and it's amazing, it's exciting, to be like the darkest demon on the planet is like ultimately exciting from our true nature to explore that reality. As the infinite creator, we are excited to explore both sides of the expression. And I did see this in myself. I had the experience of connecting into a soul aspect that's actually from the Orion negative side. That's
wow, me too.
Being, and that really messed my head up for quite a while. Every time I thought about it, because I was like, well, I'm on this love light path of journey of service, and I've got this aspect of my soul that's like basically a demon, and like it's sort of like blew me out the water. I was like, well, what's the point? What's the point in me striving for this journey to bring all this love and light to creation if an aspect of my soul is striving to bring darkness to creation? So it like really, I didn't know how to integrate it or process it. It just knocked me totally off kilter. And I like connected with him and I just saw how I said, like, what do you get from this? And he's like, it's exciting to like dominate and create. And I think if we can step out of try begin to observe things like from a fourth density perspective, like, because from fourth density we don't experience physical pain, we don't experience emotional suffering or physical pain in fourth density. So from that perspective, you can see how like being evil is not really ever creating any suffering. Of course, in this density, it's amplified because we experience physical pain, and we can never really get away from that physical pain. But if we can see it from that higher perspective, that it's just like the dance of creation, like half of creation is negative and half of creation is positive, and like this is how we explore infinity. We couldn't be infinite. We couldn't exist without the darkness. And how what also helped me to see how like the light can't exist without the dark, and the dark can't exist without the light, is how like suffering is like accelerating our own journey. And like as an example, like I'm staying with my parents at the minute, and like we still have like issues, as all families do. When what one of your family members is like throwing like negative energy in your direction because they're in a bad mood.
Yeah,
and it's like all my life
you trigger them with your high vibrations.
Yeah, and then they trigger you into your negativity through your like childhood patterns. And like all this time I've been like trying to get away from that. You know what I mean? I'm love light, I'm high frequency. I need to get away from this. But I've seen that I don't need to get away from this for two reasons. Like one reason, like I love my family and I want to help them get through this themselves. So we evolve as one family. You know, I don't want to get away from them. And that's what my mind says when they go blah blah blah. But that's not true. I want us to evolve together. And like this is the experience we have, you know, when we fall out with a family member. And then a few days later, we just break down in tears because we know that we don't want to fall out. We don't want to escape them. But it's so difficult. And we know that we love them so much and it like wells up in our hearts and we like break down in tears. And like seeing that I don't want us to get there, but also seeing how that's me, how they are me. And I have actually chosen that experience in that moment from a higher perspective. Like when we can step out of like the poor me that doesn't want to be in negative energies, I can see that I've actually chosen that. I've actually attracted that to myself, that family member. That's exactly what I want in that moment. They're moaning at me because they're highlighting my own shadow, my own trigger points that I need to evolve beyond. You know, that I wouldn't be creating that situation if it wasn't triggering me, because I need them to trigger that in me so I can bring it into my awareness, so I can heal it in myself. So I actually want that. I'm actually, you know, through the law of attraction and from perspective of my true nature, my higher self, I actually want that. I like, this is how I'm evolving by because they are me, you know, they are me. We are the same consciousness. And I have these trigger points in me still of not wanting to experience that conflict and like these deep, like psychological wounds from childhood. And I'm saying to myself, I don't want that. I don't want this person to do this to me. I just want to be on a beach, meditating in heaven with dolphins, and that's what spirituality is. But it seems so clearly it's not. Everything I want, I'm creating for myself because they're me, and I'm creating this, and I'm creating them to trigger me so I can evolve as a consciousness, and we can evolve together out of this. But ultimately, they are just me. There is no together because there is only together. You know, it's not separation. It's just me evolving. We are evolving as one. We're like one collective consciousness, and we're all triggering each other because that's what we want, to highlight our own shadow, to evolve. And that like shows how like we're just one consciousness evolving, like in polarity, love and light, with the darkness. And the higher we go in light, the higher the darkness like comes back at us to like trigger us and highlight our own shadow so that we can go higher in the light. And then presumably we're doing the same to the darkness on some way, like our light is shining the light on the darkness's weaknesses, so they need to evolve in their own demonic ability to control and manipulate, so they can evolve down up the negative path into ultimate unity, where we realize that there is no negativity. There is only, as Bashar would say, the Trinity, which is the balance points between, ultimately reality is positive, because there's ultimately reality is imbalanced towards the light, because there is like 50% darkness and 50% light, but there's also the point of balance in the center, where
the fulcrum point,
where both polarities are embraced in the non-dual state, which is unity, which is not non-judgment, which is balance, which is a positive balance is a positive frequency. So ultimately the light always wins out in the end. And that's, we get to the point in the higher densities, what some point in, I think what like where Ra is, some point in late sixth density, negative demons like cease to exist, because it doesn't make any sense once all beings have evolved to the point where we see there is only unity, there is only the law of one. Being dark no longer makes any sense, because we've embraced both polarities, and embracing of both polarity is true oneness, is true balance, and is a positive frequency. So
can I ask an ET question?
Yeah, sure.
I've been getting so I've been channeling a lot of entities lately. I channeled Christ. Like they came and tapped me on the shoulder. I channeled Dr. Seuss. That was a really fun one. I had an experience of, I'm in LA right now, and I was walking through the palm trees, and like they were truffula trees. Like I was in the Lorax. And like, anyway, so, but what a lot of these entities are saying are like, get ready for Christmas and New Year's. Something big is about to happen. And I'm wondering if that's like my ego, or if you've been getting any Yahiel like downloads around that too. I know they're planning a big, like, it's no secret that they're planning a big showy thing for 2019. So I was wondering if you had any more knowledge about that.
No, not particularly. No. Sorry. I think something big is happening. I think we're going through a real big shift at the minute collectively. I think the last 2 days energetically have been extremely intense. I feel like we've gone through a collective shift. I feel like we are like awakening collectively, like those who are on this path are accelerating. You know, I feel like collectively a lot of general people are becoming more aware, more conscious of this type of information. And we seem to be going through a collective shift, in my opinion, on some level. Like last night, like after I went through a really tough day, like I was saying, it was really intense, a lot of processing. I began to let go of everything, and I began to feel a collective consciousness forming. You know, a real oneness. Wow. in a way I haven't felt really at all. I felt like connected to like almost every light worker on the planet in a sense.
Yeah, me too. It feels like on the light. Yes.
Yeah, I think you're quite I think you're very telepathic as well, Isabel.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel you in my consciousness. You know, like
big.
Yeah, we connect quite strongly. You know, when we're resonating with each other. So it can be quite difficult when you're very like sensitive and very telepathic, because I'm constantly got everyone else's thoughts in your head, and it's having to deal with your own.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that I resonate most with children because they're just so pure, and I feel like I'm not alone when I'm around them, because like they're not little people. They're just like less conditioned, like little blobs of source. And so I'm like, oh, thank God, someone who's and we really get along. And that's what I had happen to me last night, was like you take the most like problem kids, and those are my best friends. And not always, like my best friends are usually my age. Like I don't want to be weird about it, but really lately I've been like, oh my God, the children, thank God. Like everyone says this, but like, oh my God, the children are the clearest channels that we have, and they're not burdened with this dogma about like, oh, density, blah blah blah, ascension. They're just doing their thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that they're generally the children are much higher frequency. I would totally agree, and more pleasant to be around. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I used to go swimming a lot, and like when all the kids came in the pool, I was like, yay, some high frequencies.
Oh my God, me too. And then I get worried that the parents are gonna be like, oh, some weirdo is with pink hair is talking to our kid, you know?
Yeah.
For me, since 2 or 3 months ago, I live synchronicities everywhere for the people I meet, for what I live. It's like if I can live for a short time what I want.
Oh, I've got a light bulb flashing in here too, so proceed. Sorry, we've got some resonance going on. Continue, Gilbert.
Okay. No, my name is Danny, but it's okay. Gilbert is my last name.
Okay,
so,
sorry.
Okay. So, I live a lot of synchronicities, but they are very strong. It's like I live what I didn't live in my past for all my life. I live it now, and I don't do it on purpose. A friend invites me there for an event. Um, I meet some well-known people here in Montreal. I meet some friends. I even go now on a little cafe where they play jazz from the 30s. And it shows that I had a past life in the 30s. So I live what I want to live now and what I live in the past in the last 3 months. So, wow. That's all I wanted to say.
While you were saying that, this light bulb in my room was going crazy. I wish my video were working.
But
So
too,
keep doing whatever you're doing.
I had a flash in my room too, but it's the sun.
Yeah, and I think being as we're on the topic of the call is oneness, it's useful to remember that, the reason synchronicities occur is because our entire outer reality is us, and we're like, we're like our inner frequency is our outer reality, it's like there is no separation. So whatever's going on within us is also going on out there because it's all us. So we're just
within you, without you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm in a hostel right now and I just realized that my door is open and I've been announcing this whole conversation to everybody in the hall. Cool. Triggered.
You are in the hospital?
No, a hostel, like a youth hostel.
Oh, okay.
It's funny, every time I say hostel, people think I say hospital.
Yeah, I'm French, so I'm sorry about that. So I heard hospital.
No, you're good. It's just funny.
Yeah.
Wow, this light is still going crazy over here.
But a few minutes ago, yes, it was really flashing. We saw it on the video, but I was not.
Oh my God!
Yeah. I think it's a good sign. It's the light. But at the beginning of meditation, boy, I saw flashes and sun and flashes. I will almost fall, but it was good. Thank God I didn't fall on the couch.
So I'm going to read this passage one more time because there's power in reading things 3 times. It settles into our brain more. And then there's another little bit I think I'll read afterwards. So, consider, if you will, that the universe is infinite. This has yet to be proven or disproven. I can assure you that there is no end to yourselves, your understanding, what you would call your journey of seeking, or your perceptions of the creation. That which is infinite cannot be many, for manyness is a finite concept. To have infinity, you must identify or define the infinity as unity. Otherwise, the term does not have any reference or meaning. In an infinite creator, there is only unity. You have seen simple examples of unity. You have seen the prism which shows all colors stemming from the sunlight. This is a simplistic example of unity. In truth, there is no right or wrong. There is no polarity, for all will be, as you would say, reconciled at some point in your dance through the mind-body-spirit complex, which you amuse yourself by distorting in various ways at this time. This distortion is not in any case necessary. It is chosen by each of you as an alternative to understanding the complete unity of thought which binds all things. You are not speaking of similar or somewhat like entities. You are everything. Every being, every emotion, every event, every situation. You are unity. You are infinity. You are love, light, light, love. You are. This is the law of one. So it's just reminding us that we are everything, every being. You are everything, every being, every emotion, every event, every situation. You are unity. You are infinity. You are love, light, light, love. You are. This is the law of one. So the law of one is that we are infinity. We are each other. We are every being. We are the infinite universe. And I think the more we come to understand this mentally, it does assist us to entering into the direct experiential reality of it. It is like the access point, the belief that we are each other can definitely be an access point into the direct experience of oneness. And so perhaps I'll do a quick mini guided meditation just to sort of tune us into oneness a bit.
Wait, I need to plug my phone in. Right. Ready when you guys are.
I am.
Yeah, so if we just let everything go just for a few minutes, just for the duration of this quick guided meditation, just for 10 minutes, if we drop everything, our reality won't collapse. If we can just drop everything just for 10 minutes, we can pick it up again after the meditation, after the call. But just for 10 or 15 minutes, if we just let go of everything. So any thoughts we have, anything we've been talking about in the past call, any plans we have for after the call, our cup of tea we're drinking, or whatever it is that we're thinking about or doing or experiencing, if we just put it aside just for a few moments. And begin to observe what remains. Something remains. There's still something here. There's a kind of empty awareness, a kind of stillness, a space of consciousness, a space of awareness, a stillness, a nothingness even. But there's like just a gap. And as we become aware of this that remains when we've let go of everything, this that we can't let go of, we can begin to ask ourselves some questions about this. Does this have a size? Does it have dimension? What is it? Does it have a beginning? Does it have an end? Does it have color? Did it come from somewhere? Can we lose it? Does it have a name? Or is it simply that it just is? And this space, this stillness, this empty awareness, this void, this kind of nothingness, that remains when we let go of everything. We can start to sense that this stillness, this emptiness, this space, this awareness, this silence actually pervades our whole body. And it even pervades our thoughts. We can sense this stillness in our body. Somehow every molecule, every cell of our body is made up from this stillness. Every part of us is formed from this stillness, our legs, our arms, our head, all our cells. Is this stillness? From here, we can even sense that the air around us is made from this stillness. And the room we're in, or the trees and the air around us, they're all made from this stillness. We can sense the stillness in everything around us. And the other people in the call, they too are made from this same stillness that we're made of. Even our computer, our phone, even the cars beeping around us, the sound of the horn is made from this stillness. We can sense out into the planets, the galaxy, the universe. It's all made from this stillness. We are all this stillness. This stillness is infinity, and it is us. We are the infinite stillness, pervading all things. We are one as infinite stillness, this infinite space, this infinite awareness that resides when we drop everything, is us in our truest nature, and it is everything. And we are everything because we are this stillness. And we are one. And we are infinity and unity. This stillness is our infinite self. This stillness is the conscious spark of life. This is infinity. This is the universe. This is you. Us, one, still, infinite, immortal, eternal. Always here as this stillness, everywhere, every moment, every time. No separation, dark and light, no polarity, only unity. Every being, every thought, every emotion is us as this stillness. We are one. We are eternal. We are free. We can remember that every time we want to remember that we are one, the same consciousness, the same being, the same entity, the same infinity, the same unity. All we have to do is drop everything for a few moments. Remember this stillness. Remember this stillness in and as all things, infinite, unbound, and free. And this is us. We are the infinite one. Welcome home. And perhaps when we come out of the meditation and we can just observe the others on camera and the voices of those talking and just sense that stillness in each other and see that we are all one, that intelligent infinity, infinite consciousness pervading each other and all things as that stillness.
I had not a mantra, just words kept going through my head as we were going through that meditation. The light and the dark, and it was stories from the city, stories from the sea, stories from the city, stories from the sea. Captain, captain, you can't catch me. Into the white, into the white. Whoa, there's a lot more, but I don't want to keep going.
Beautiful.
Feel free to keep going if you want, Isabel. It's nice.
Thank you. Whoa, I'm just like being zapped with downloads right now. Oh my God, please stop. I just want to be grounded. So fine-tuned, it hurts. Oh, and I thought of a song. There's a PJ Harvey song from, well, it's an album called Stories from the City, Stories from the Sea. That's what kept hitting me. And I think it's because I'm in LA and I look out the window and on the right side I see the city and on the left side I see the sea. I see the ocean. And she has a song called, I forget what it's called, but it's like, baby, baby. I'm not going to sing. Ain't it true? I am immortal when I'm with you. And then she says, but I want a pistol in my hand. But it kept coming in as, I want a crystal in my hand.
Sort of like the sea could almost represent the infinite light, and the city could represent the infinite dark.
Ooh, yes, and vice versa. But to me, the sea is on the left, and right now it represents the waters, the flooding, the earth, Gaia. It's Gaia, Gaia, Gaia. Divine feminine, divine feminine, divine feminine. Flow, flow, flow. Unstructured, just liquid. Takes the shape of whatever its container it is in, and it is the container. And then the city is buildings. It's structure. It's the divine masculine. And if you look at the shape of XY chromosomes, and if you like Google image search like karyotype sex chromosomes, for men it's basically 2 straight lines that are perfectly in alignment, and for women the X chromosomes are and I think science gets it wrong. I don't think it's that women have 2 X chromosomes and women have an XY chromosome. I think they're actually different, just different. But if you look at an X chromosome in a woman, there is no sex in non-physical. But if you look at the polarized feminine female chromosomes, they're just curvy. They're just like waves. They look like waves of the ocean.
Is this what you're talking about?
Go to a simpler one. So go, oh, this is so exciting. Go to the one, the third from the right. Or no, actually the second from the right with the pink and the, so, no, up above the gray. I'm looking at like black. Well, these kind of work too. Up. That, the one to the left, that one, right there. All right, and this is okay, are you guys ready for some knowledge bomb? Okay. So the Yahiel actually through information via Bella via Gita Rose delivered information that the Yahiel, or their civilization name is actually Yahel, which means like tent of light, like the oneness of the light essentially, and that the extra Y, the Yah, it should be Yahel, it's Yahiel, was according to Gita. So this information is a little bit distorted because it's from like information that Gita typed to me on Facebook chat. But the Y is something that's missing, that the Yahiel gave this to us as a hint of something that humanity quote unquote needs. And it's a why, and I was like, what, why? And I've downloaded a few answers about what this means. The first thing I downloaded was you. It's just you. It's self-realization. Duh, most obvious one. You are the Messiah. Second, the why is asking why, questioning, challenging authority. Not just authority, challenging, questioning everything. Why? 4-year-olds are so fucking annoying because they just go, you say like, okay, Jimmy, eat your breakfast. Why? That's one of them. The other one is, okay, this is why the Greys were unable to reproduce. So science gets it backwards. You've heard that the X chromosome is female and the Y chromosome is male. Opposite. It's not true. One way of looking at it is that the Y chromosome is actually the divine feminine aspect in masculinity. And again, disclaimer, this is all my interpretation. So science says, so I studied a lot of biology in university, and our scientists are actually saying the Y chromosome is getting smaller and smaller with every generation, and they're like, oh no, men are going to go extinct, what's this about? And actually, surprise, it's not men that are going extinct if humanity goes in the direction that we were supposed to go in, this destruction direction, where actually it was women who would die out, because it's Gaia, it's the divine feminine that we've been raping and destroying and dominating, and that it would get shorter and shorter and shorter until there's nothing left to be used. And then look at the gray aliens. Like, what are they? They're just like androgynous, like they just like look like little dudes. And I actually don't have that much empirical information that I've read about them.
They're very masculine oriented.
They're masculine,
knowledge based. Yeah, they lost their feminine side, I think.
They lost it, yeah. So I think you guys can figure out the rest from there. But I love to talk about this. I'm so happy to finally have an audience who is ready to listen to this and not be like, oh, that's a nice idea. It's not. It just is. So anyway, I don't want to like trigger any alarm bells or be, none of the paranoia or anything. It's just sort of, it's an observation. It's, okay, humanity, you have 2 ways that you can go, and the light has already won, blah, blah, blah. We're all together. We're connecting. Like, we're fine. But the other way is, shit, 1 second. It's like, we got 2 ways to go. Either we can save the fucking planet or go the way of the Greys, and that just don't. There's a new message from the Greys. Just don't.
That nicely segues into what will make possibly the end of the call, because we're nearly up to the 2-hour mark. And so the next question after that Ra talks of there is just someone says, I might as well read it just quickly. Can you comment on the coming planetary changes in our physical reality? I am Ra. The changes are very, very trivial. We do not concern ourselves with the conditions which bring about harvest. Harvest is what they mean. That's the ascension, the transition we're going through, when we awaken as individuals to a fourth density, to our higher nature. So I think it's basically saying like things like all the turmoil we're going through at the minute with like, the tsunamis and the financial and political chaos, is saying they're not interested in that stuff. That's
right.
Here to like give us some impetus to start searching deeper in ourselves. But,
light a fire under our butts, yeah.
Yeah, basically, but it's that's not, they don't have any interest in that. They're just help us to discover how we can ascend once we
no shadow play.
Yeah, just focusing on the highest. And anyway, after that question, it comes to this that I thought was interesting. There's so it says, if an individual makes efforts to act as a catalyst in general to increase the awareness of planetary consciousness, is he of any aid in that direction, or is he doing nothing but acting upon himself? I am Ra. We shall answer your question in 2 parts, both of which are important equally. Firstly, you must understand that the distinction between yourself and others is not visible to us. We do not consider that a separation exists between the consciousness-raising efforts of the distortion which you project as a personality and the distortion that you project as another personality. Thus, to learn is the same as to teach, unless you are not teaching what you are learning, in which case you have done you them little good. This understanding should be pondered by your mind-body-spirit complex, as it is a distortion which plays a part in your experiences at this nexus. So I'll just read that again, because it's saying it's something we should ponder, and then we can ponder it a little.
Yeah, and it talks about the distortion. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm just going to read it again, because I didn't really take it in myself as I read it. Firstly, you must understand that the distinction between yourself and others is not visible to us. We do not consider that a separation exists between the consciousness-raising efforts of the distortion which you project as a personality and the distortion that you project as another personality. Thus, to learn is the same as to teach, unless you are not teaching what you are learning, in which case you have done you them little good. This understanding should be pondered by your mind-body-spirit complex, as it is a distortion which plays a part in your experiences at this nexus. So they basically say it's quite important that we ponder what they've just said here. So we do not consider that a separation exists between the consciousness-raising efforts of distortion which you project as a personality and the distortion that you project as another personality. So what they're saying there is that we do not consider that a separation exists between the consciousness-raising efforts of yourself and the other person. So what it's saying here is, if I'm sharing some information with you, Isabel, that the old perspective is that I'm the teacher and you're the student,
Right?
And I know it already, and you don't know it, but now you do know it, so I've taught you. But what they're saying is that this is incorrect. They're saying is that we are both one consciousness, and we are both growing in wisdom together.
Thank you. Yes.
I think that's what they're saying. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yes, and when Ra answered me to the question at the beginning, he talked a lot of distortion concerning me, and I didn't understand. So now I have my answer. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing, the terminology. When I started reading this book, I was like, what on earth are they talking about? But after you get through a few chapters and you've heard it so many times, it starts to make sense. Basically, a distortion, as they talk about it, is any perspective in creation that is not the ultimate oneness. So we're all distortions of what the infinite one. Like, ultimately, in our true nature, we are the one infinite creator. We are infinite consciousness. You know, we are the one with a pure light, love light of creation, just pure love and pure infinite consciousness. That's the only undistorted state. But any entity less than God, you know, less than infinity, you know, as is us, is a distortion. You know, we're all a distorted perspective, because we all have our own perspectives. They're both saying that none of our perspectives, no matter how wise we are, they're all ultimately like untrue in a way. They're all a distorted perspective of the one infinite love light of creation. You know, we can't ever like put the truth of reality into words.
Right.
It's always slightly distorted. It's always, you know, sort of like Chinese whispers. You know, the further we go down through creation, the more distorted we get to the point where we're humans, where we have the most distorted view of the nature of reality.
Yep.
But we're becoming less distorted now, of course, you know, as we grow in wisdom, but it's still a distortion. Even then, you know, the wise, they're saying that even Ra's consciousness, Ra is a distortion. You know, it's their perspective of the law of one, their perspective of the infinite unity is a distortion, and all things in creation are a distorted perspective of the one infinite creator. And it's the law, it's one of the laws of creation, you know, as we separate off from the infinity into our own perspective, it will always be a distorted point of view.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
So I'm getting I'm getting more strong downloads for as they pertain to you, Jonathan, specifically, because you're the one who's talking and like
But they also
right now.
pertain to you equally because we are the same consciousness.
Right.
Which
Yes.
do proceed.
Yes, I'm well aware. But so my question for you is why am I getting such strong downloads of Australia? Why do we resonate? Why Australia right now? It's just like Australia.
I don't know.
You.
You've said that before. So something else just came into my head from a dream about Saskatchewan.
Wow, I've been having Saskatchewan synchronicities here in LA.
No way.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan in Canada.
People from Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Do you know anything about Saskatchewan, Danny? Saskatchewan's in Canada, is that right?
Yes, it's a Canada province. You know, instead of having states in Canada, we called it province.
Mm-hmm.
So Saskatchewan.
Oh, we have a Canadian among us.
Yes, hello, Montreal, Quebec. So Saskatchewan is one of the 10 provinces of Canada. So yeah, that's all I know. I never went. That's quite far away from Quebec. And yes. Oh, that's all I know.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
That's been coming to me too. Well, I know Cryon says that Canada is a very good place to ground because it's not super populated, and it's there hasn't been like a ton of blood spilled there compared to everywhere else in the world.
I don't know what to say. I think it's we're all equal, just different. So I don't know much about Saskatchewan instead, besides the geographic point.
Yeah, I think certainly different places in the world have different frequencies, and some are more pure than others. Though that, I'm sure the energies in Saskatchewan are better than in Iraq. Or
yeah. I feel like really, my guides are knocking on the door of Bonnie right now.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, I think we just want to open up the floor to you because you've been observing and we're curious if you have anything else to say or add.
Oh. Well, I'm really feeling the oneness, and I kind of got deep in that meditation. But I've been going through quite a big life shift. I mean, I've literally, it's a big thing. So I'm like not at my house. I'm at my parents. Well, hopefully the guy will leave, but it's been quite a year. And finally I've stood up, and I've decided, and so, but it's Christmas, and like we went home yesterday, and he taken the whole tree down, my daughter cried. So there's just been all this really like hard energy, but it's at the same time I know, because of all my other big shifts in life, it's the right before another big kind of shift. And in 2008 I had my first like kind of big awakening, and it was after some really hard stuff. So I think I try to avoid the hard stuff because I've been through quite a bit of it, but so I'm trying to like make this relationship work, but I know it's the best thing.
No.
So I'm getting a lot of energy. I'm getting a lot of visions of like, I feel like I'm in ancient Egypt tombs. Seeing a lot of visions, and I feel like there's a big shift going on galactically. So and I'm real sensitive to energy. So there's a lot going on, but no, I'm observing. I'm just taking it in. I didn't know how this was going to go because me and Jonathan used to do this channeling group over a year ago. And
oh, really?
Some friends. And so we kind of rehamped it, and we didn't know where it was, but I just love the Law of One. I mean,
Bonnie, where are you from?
I'm from Utah. Right now I live in Moab, Utah. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Sorry, where are you right now?
I live in Moab, Utah. So
okay.
You probably know it's a big tourist spot, big red arches, and it's beautiful, beautiful country. So yeah. There's been a lot going on for me, but I'm feeling really good. But I'm feeling like I am going through kind of a transition time in my life. But I've needed another group and some support,
Oh God. Me
all
too.
just like coming together at the right time. So yeah,
Reunion.
yeah,
Communion.
yeah, and
Isn't
it's
that a
like
book?
this Egypt theme seems to really resonate with.
It's huge. The Egypt stuff. You're so right. I've been having so many Egypt visions too.
Right. It's crazy.
What have you been getting on Egypt?
I feel like I'm in these tombs underground, and I can feel the coldness and the undergroundedness, and I can see all these pillars, and I'm not getting much more than that, other than like when I'm going into deep meditation. I've seen Thoth, and I've seen Ra, and I thought Nefertiti, but it's kind of like I'll just go in and go out, kind of like when I'm in meditation. I haven't gone on a deep tour or anything deeper than that, other than just seeing different beings and feeling like I'm in these tombs or in these underground temples or something.
So I've been on the opposite. I've been getting a lot of bird's eye view. Yeah, that's what I've been looking for. Thank you.
Nice.
I've been getting a lot of bird's eye view visions of Egypt and Israel. Also, the two complementary aspects that I've been channeling are the Jordan River Valley, the Arava. What? There's more than two now. Okay, the Jezreel Valley, the Arava Valley, the Nile Valley, Fertile Valley.
Great.
Nice.
Talk about that, please.
Yeah, the sorry,
Oh,
I was looking for an image. Yeah, what Bonnie was speaking about, seeing these images of being in, you called it a tomb, didn't you?
I did call it a tomb, and
it's a womb.
That is interesting. I called it a tomb, and then I thought, wait, why did I say tomb? Wow.
I just got that too. That just came out of nowhere. It's a room. I don't know who that was. Like literally, I don't know who that was.
Well, in a sense, it is. Well, if it, do you think it might be rather than a tomb? Do you think it could be like an underground temple?
Womb.
An underground temple. Yes, it feels. The walls are big, and there's pillars. So
yeah.
And it's round. Yes.
Whoa! It's round. Like guys, what is that thing in Italy called? The famous one it's a bulb. Why have I been forgetting the name of this thing? Help me out here. It's in Rome. It's famous. It's ancient. It used to be like a pagan temple, and then they converted it into a Catholic thing, like everything else.
The Coliseum?
Not the Colosseum.
Oh.
It's like round. It's a dome. The Necropolis. What is it called? I've been there.
Necropolis? No.
All right, you guys keep doing your thing. I'm gonna Google this really quickly.
Well, me just one. I have a vivid dream. I was also inside of a pyramid or inside the Egyptian temple, and I saw some statues. Like the head is like a Taurus, a beef.
Pantheon. It's the Pantheon. I just remembered.
No, okay, no. In my dream, I visited some statues, but I did it just once, and I saw like a god in statue. It happens to me once, but I thought it was very vivid dream. Okay, so sorry.
Wow.
The Pantheon, right? You said?
Yep. Yeah, so what I'm receiving right now is the specific Pantheon, the one in Rome specifically, it's its own thing, and general Pantheon. So I'll read. So it means all the gods of a people or religion collectively.
Yeah, I think it's right.
A building in which the illustrious dead of a nation are buried or honored. Whoa!
Wow.
Yeah, I'm still searching for the name of the statue, the god with the head of Taurus, you know.
Is it,
Like,
wait, is it the dog face one? Is it Anubis?
I tell you,
Anubis!
you're right. Thank you, Anubis. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I saw in my.
Like a cat dog. Serious. Why so
Yeah.
serious?
Oh, good. I love cats. Anyway.
Me too.
Yeah, these were the sort of images that I kept.
Who is Sekhmet? I'm sorry.
Sekhmet is one of the cats.
The cat.
I think the cat being. I think Sekhmet is a cat being.
That just came in really hard. Sekhmet's tomb.
Yeah. Sekhmet's a cat, and I've got cat Egyptian statues all over my house.
Wow.
I'm a little obsessed with. Yeah. But I thought that was Bastet, but Sekhmet. I think you're right, Jonathan.
Bastet.
Yeah, Bastet is as well.
Is another
Whoa.
one. Right. They're both of them. Yep.
Oh my God, you guys, this is awesome.
Yay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So these were the sort of images. I've been getting them for a while. There's a great series on.
Can you zoom in?
Sorry.
Can you zoom in on that? Is that possible?
I'm not sure.
Never mind.
Probably, but yeah, I'm not sure.
You know what? I've been getting a lot of. Oh my God, you guys, watch The Prince of Egypt, the animated film from the '90s. So there's this part where he sort of goes into fifth dimensional awareness of remembering his babyhood and like what happened, which like doesn't really happen. Nobody ever goes like, oh yeah, no, I remember when I'm a baby, but maybe it's possible now because of the ascension. But anyway, so like basically it goes into this like montage of like hieroglyphics, and Moses sees himself as like oh my God, the thing I'm getting is labyrinth. He's like running around in a labyrinth, an Egyptian labyrinth, but it's hieroglyphs on the wall, and it's like he's running away from Ra and the bad guys, and I don't know if it's specifically Ra, that might have been my ego, but he's running away from those who want to control him and the powers that be, and do you know, like, whoa, it's just his emancipation and his leading himself out of slavery.
Yeah, it looks good. Is it a good movie, that then?
It's one of my top 5 favorite movies. Yes.
Yeah, it looked good. That clip you sent me was really good.
That's the most playful part, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I can share my favorite clip from that on the Facebook group if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, share it to the group. Yeah. Yes. So what I kept seeing, I've been seeing this for a while now. The same images as what Bonnie's talking about. It's like I'm fairly sure perhaps a lot of us here have had past lives in ancient Egypt, and we've been through these energetic schools. And it's like the more I rise in consciousness, like whenever I'm sort of going through a bit of conflict and like there's any doubts that, you know, I want to follow this path, I like see images of myself in ancient Egypt.
Wow.
Like, in these temples, like, and they always seem to be underground. You know, there's no lights coming in. We're always indoors or underground, and
Sure.
And the energy's amazing in there. Like, it's just beautiful energy.
Yeah.
And
oh, I see it now too. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and And when me and Bonnie were chatting the other day, and while we were chatting, I kept seeing these images, and I just said, Bonnie, are you interested in ancient Egypt by any chance? And the same. So that's sort of how this
Well, see,
happened.
I personally, I have two names. I have my English name and my Hebrew name. My Hebrew name is Israel. It's Woman of Israel, and the full name is actually Wolf Woman of Israel. And so I've always resonated more with Israel and the land. So my interest is more polarized towards Israel, but now what I've been getting is like, no, Sinai Peninsula, that is the bridge, the connection, the unification of Egypt and Israel. We are one.
So my patient knows me really well. She got me this rug let me show you. This rug, I put it on the bed. This rug for Christmas.
Oh my
and I
God.
just got it yesterday. I was like, nice.
Can you show me? Can you?
Let's see if I can do this better. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's see. It's a rug, but it's laying on the bed right now. Let's see if I
Oh, beautiful.
Guys, you would not believe.
oh my gosh, I was
There's
like,
I'm
But
my
I-
two
okay.
Cairo
knows
shops.
pretty well.
Continue.
Hold it up.
What? That's awesome.
Oh, there
It's
we
so
go.
big.
That's better. It's
I love
big.
that.
Oh, wow.
I know. I'm like, I want to take it.
Yeah.
I'll put it in my house.
Oh, love it.
I'll just sit on it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, right. But he asked me about Egyptian, and I just thought I made my friend build me a pyramid shell, and I just like my house decorated with ancient Egypt already.
The greatest room, the greatest gift.
That's awesome, huh? So
Yes.
we all have connections somehow to this energy because
Hey.
there's the one. I want to go to my house and show you the whole 9 yards, but maybe next call.
guys, I'm staying in Venice Beach right now. Across the street from my hostel is a restaurant called Cairo. Around the corner from me is I don't know what it's called, but it's a little Egyptian bazaar with crystals and pyramids and papyri that look just like your rug and the thing that Jonathan you just held up.
Yeah, this is a papyrus. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got
papyrus
on my walls. I've got one with Nefertiti. I got that same one. And
I did not do this on purpose. Like, I picked this because I wanted to be by the beach, and now I'm surrounded by Egyptian stuff. This is not my ego doing this, you guys. This is so cool.
That's great, huh? Yeah, that is awesome.
Oh my God. Wait, what kind of doctor are you, Bonnie?
I'm not a doctor. I'm a nurse assistant. So I have patients in all these, I go to all these different houses and realms of life.
Oh, you're a healer.
Patients, yeah, and I run around and I help them take their pills or get them a shower. Like, yeah.
My God.
Yeah, I kind of really enjoy it. Sometimes it's busy, but I feel like I get a lot out of helping them, and they're also like gracious.
Oh my God.
Oh
my God. Oh my God. Wait. Bonnie, I have to show you something.
What?
And you're gonna shit yourself. I bought this from the Africa shop downstairs. Oh my God. Wait, you guys, like, I'm gonna like reset my do we have to go? Is it time to go? Because like I really want to show you guys this.
No, we don't need to. I was saying, I'll stop recording now because we're just chatting now. So I'll stop recording. So I'll just say bye to the people online. So yes, so if you want to sign up for the group and join in our chat next time, if you're watching on this YouTube, just check out the link in the box below. I'll put a link to the Facebook Nefertiti Mystery School, and you can join in our call next time. So see you later, YouTube guys. Bye.